I remember a former client saying that they could have these thoughts ricocheting around their mind for the entire day, and that he could ignore those thoughts the entire day. But if he bravely put pen to paper, he had to deal with and acknowledge those thoughts. And I loved that open, vulnerable share. And I think that's so true, and that can be applicable to all of us. In this next mini dose, daily dose podcast, I'm going to do a deep dive around journaling. This has been the most transformative integration tool that I've ever come across on my journey. And I believe that this is the most potent integration strategy that anyone on the path of consciousness, microdosing or macrodosing, or a meditative path, flow path, can utilize for feeling good, for cultivating self-awareness, for creativity, for priming prosperity pathways, for all of it. Journaling. It's made an absolute game change in my life, so much that I wrote a 308-page psychedelic integration book, my book, Worth the Fight. I love the support, worththefightbook.org. And I remember when I started doing psychedelics back in 2013, 2014, I just was ripping through the journals. And certainly after my ayahuasca initiation, late 2014, 2015, when I came back, I had a lot of solo journeys with psilocybin, and I just remember, going through a notebook a month. And I've been doing that for the last decade, utilizing this as a means to process emotions, to regulate my nervous system, for creativity, for problem solving. We're going to go into all of that. Consider this a journaling masterclass. Again, from somebody who's, I put in my 10,000 hours of journaling. Maybe not, I haven't quantified that, but it's something I do every single day, and I've done every single day for the last decade. So I've paid very close attention to the luminaries in this space that are sharing their directives, and I'm going to share with you in this next 10 to 20 minutes everything that I've learned along the journey. I loved how Robin Sharma, the author of the 5 a.m. Club, he calls journaling prayer on paper. Yes, this is secular prayer on paper. We're putting our heartfelt thoughts and intentions onto paper, getting them out of our head, off of our heart, onto paper, so we can look at them and we can make actionable steps align with our higher calling and our purpose. And this can be a great feedback loop for that. We don't need anything from the outside. We're not going to coaches or gurus or this or that. We're just sitting with our own intelligence, putting pen to paper, working through it, and just the very nature of putting pen to paper, the cerebral nature of writing slows us down, where we can start to process and work through some of that heaviness that might be on our mind or on our heart. I love how Vex King, he talks about processing our lower vibrational emotions, getting really curious about that. I love that angle and the way that he said that we're studying our lower vibrational thoughts and energies. And again, bravely putting pen to paper, getting really curious, writing about the feelings that we're feeling. And I know this can be really challenging for men, certainly for women as well, but as men, we've been shamed to express emotion since we were 5, so this can be really, really challenging. I believe that vulnerability is a superpower for the world that we're shifting into. Vulnerability builds trust, trust underlies connection, and connection is why we're here. So men and women that are watching this video, if you want the deep connection, the really good stuff, we're gonna have to be vulnerable about what we're feeling. And again, put pen to paper and to work through and to trust the process and to start getting our left brain chatter onto the page so we can look at the problems with more objectivity. I love Mark Manson's take, the author of The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. He talks about the goal is to not have problems, but is to have better problems. He uses the analogy, Warren Buffett has problems, but his problems are better than most of ours. And so we're working through and progressively getting better problems. when Einstein had an hour to solve a problem, he would spend 60 minutes or he would spend 55 minutes thinking about the problem, contemplating the problem, maybe journaling about the problem, or maybe he was out on the lake. I know that he would do that. He would get out into nature on Lake Geneva and go out and sit in the middle of the lake and wait for inspiration to strike. And that would be I can't imagine a better place for capturing our thoughts and creative inspiration and the nuance of just being out in nature. I've talked about it ad nauseum, how incredible nature is for getting out and how it can help us to work through ruminative thoughts and for creativity, for mental well-being. As Dr. Mark Hyman says, problems are solved at 3 miles per hour, but again, getting outside. But the Einstein analogy, I think about that. Whenever I'm struggling with a problem, I'll write whatever that problem is, and then I'll do 55-5 in my journal, and then I'm gonna write about the problem. And I'm not gonna write about the solution. Again, 55 minutes thinking about the problem, and then 5 minutes thinking about the solution. That was Einstein's approach. So there's a strange paradox here. In thinking about the problem, the solutions will arise. We don't have to worry about the solutions. We think about the problems, and we're gonna have the eureka moments, the ahas, or what Dr. Richard Ramolt says, the uh-ohs, those moments of insight that sometimes are painful. It's not always a eureka moment or aha. It can be an oh geez, this is work. And this is working with psychedelics, microdosing and macrodosing can be very beneficial because it does cultivate self-awareness from within. So we're creating a space to capture that awareness. We're journaling about the problem, about looking at the problem from 360 degrees. And in doing so, the solutions will arise. We don't even have to think about the solution. It will start to emerge and arise because we're giving the problem awareness. How many people actually take time to sit with their problems? When we think about it, so often our traumas and our problems are so thorny that people don't even want to go near them. So, they put them off, they push them off, they numb whatever that problem is with alcohol, with cannabis, with TV, with food, with, again, pornography, anything to have me not think about my problems. I'm going to divert my attention elsewhere. This other angle of sitting with the truth, the reality, the where I'm struggling with is too painful. But that's not going to help us solve the problem. That's going to have us further out to sea. And again, not an adaptive strategy that will help us to solve whatever challenges we're working through. So again, the journal is an incredible opportunity for us to process our emotions, to regulate the heaviness that's on our heart, for problem solving, for priming prosperity pathways, for the 80-20 principle. Journal about your 20% genius. Where can you cut? What can you cut? What is the 80% that can be cut? What can we let go of? I always share a letting go meditation. I am letting go. And it's the letting go, having the awareness around what can be let go. So we let go, we let go, we let go. And that can clear energetic space for new aligned blessings and for prosperity pathways to emerge. Yes, this takes work. Yes, it's not always fun, but it can be really rewarding, and it's definitely worth the fight. When in doubt, leaning into gratitude. You can journal about gratitude. Count your blessings. It's hokey. It's a little bit cheesy, but it's extraordinarily beneficial. When we journal on the gratitude, the blessings that we already have in our life, they multiply. And as Tony Robbins says, that fear and gratitude cannot coexist in the same moment. So when we're in that spirit of gratitude and we're focused on gratitude, we are boxing out fear and insecurity, and we are priming more gratitude in our lives. So hopefully these are some strategies that might work for you. I'd love to hear anything that I missed around journaling that might be a strategy that you utilize, or has been beneficial on your path. But again, hopefully you found value here. I'm going to do a bonus journaling episode around trauma journaling. Stay tuned. I'm going to post this tomorrow. We're going to go deep tomorrow. So start with your journaling today, and again tomorrow we can take it to another level with some trauma journaling. It's another exercise I've been sharing with my clients for years, and it's worked wonders on me, and I've benefited from it immensely, and it's extraordinarily powerful. So again, we'll see you tomorrow. For more on the Worth the Fight book and message of hope and healing, please check out worththefightbook.org. And I'd love the support of my book. And please do leave me comments in the comments below, any thoughts and impressions, anything that I might be missing. I'm here to serve all of you. So much love and peace.